now for our next news special report.
Now we're peeling back the curtain on a troubling reality that's unfolding in our nation's capital, where the very fabric of our public safety is being torn apart by policies that favor criminals over the citizens they victimize. It's a story that will shock you, anger you, and perhaps even motivate you to demand change. As Washington, D.C. residents stand face to face with a crime wave that threatens to engulf their community, their calls for action are met with a response so bewildering, it's hard to believe it's not fiction. But believe it, because today you'll hear straight from the source. This isn't just a report, it's a wake-up call about the dangers of leftist policies run amok and a vivid illustration of why strong, decisive leadership is desperately needed to ensure the safety and security of our citizens. Stay with us until the end, because you don't want to miss the critical insight in our final thought, shedding light on why this isn't just a D.C. problem, it's America's problem. Before we dive deeper into this unfolding saga, let's address a critical aspect that underscores the severity of what we are facing. Now, before we dive deep into today's urgent report, I do have something crucial to share. Imagine, if you will, a city where the guardians of law and order turn their backs on justice, where chaos reigns because those in charge refuse to confront it head on. Sound familiar? Well, it's not just our streets that are becoming lawless. It's our leaders' approach to safeguarding our communities. But there is a way to prepare for the chaos that they are inviting. That's where preparewithgary.com comes in. Right now, you can get $60 off a 4-week emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest preparedness company. These kits, packed with delicious meals that last up to 25 years, offer over 2,000 calories daily to keep you and your family well-fed in times of crisis. So don't let the chaos catch you unprepared. At this low price, securing a kit for each family member is a no-brainer. So head over to preparewithgary.com and order by 3 p.m. for free same-day shipping. In these times of uncertainty, being prepared is not an option, it is a necessity. Prepare now before the full scale of their chaos unfolds. Now, in an era where the rule of law should be the bedrock of our society, we're witnessing an unsettling shift towards a tolerance for lawlessness, underpinned by a disturbing blend of apathy and misguided policies from those elected to protect us. The streets of our nation's capital have become a stage for a grim performance where the safety of our citizens is comprised by the very individuals sworn to ensure it. The recent community forum in Washington, D.C., attended by Attorney General Brian Schwab, served as a stark reminder of this growing crisis. Amidst a backdrop of spiraling crime rates and public outcry, the response from Schwab was not a commitment to action, but a declaration of defeat, encapsulated in his assertion that we cannot prosecute and arrest our way out of it. This stance not only undermines the rule of law, but signals a capitulation to criminality, leaving residents to bear the brunt of this policy paralysis. Watch.
During the discussion, residents did not hold back, voicing their frustrations.
I blame the system.
Many questioning why kids aren't being held accountable.
We as a city and a community need to be much more focused on prevention and surrounding young people and their families with resources if we want to be safer in the long run. We cannot prosecute and arrest our way out of it.
Now, following this revelation, the narrative that emerges is one of frustration and fear among the citizens of D.C. The implications of Schwab's words are profound, effectively highlighting the legal mechanisms designed to protect society. Instead of addressing the root causes of crime or enhancing the effectiveness of law enforcement, the focus has shifted towards a nebulous strategy of prevention and resource allocation that lacks immediate impact on the lives of those endangered daily by the escalating violence. Now, the statistics are alarming. Nearly 50 carjackings have been reported, along with a constant tally of homicides that paints a dire picture of a city under siege. The surge in violent crime is not just a series of isolated incidents, but a symptomatic failure of leadership and policy. The Attorney General's reluctance to engage with the criminal justice system as a tool for community safety emboldens perpetrators, knowing that their actions are unlikely to be met with significant consequences. Now, this breakdown in civic responsibility is not confined to the streets, but permeates the halls of power in D.C. Elected officials tasked with safeguarding the public seem more invested in political posturing than addressing the tangible fears of their constituents. Their inaction and avoidance of tough decisions have created a vacuum, filled by the voices of those suffering most from the crisis. The community forum, intended as a dialogue between city leaders and residents, instead highlighted the chasm between political rhetoric and the stark realities faced by the populace. The frustration of D.C. residents is palpable as they demand accountability and action in the face of a violent crime epidemic that threatens the fabric of their community. Yet the response from those at the helm is not a rallying cry for reform or a detailed strategy to combat this wave of lawlessness. It is instead a retreat into platitudes about prevention and resources, absent the immediate measures needed to restore order and confidence. This stance not only fails the victims of crime, but erodes trust in the institutions designed to protect and serve. So amidst this landscape of neglect, the story of Artel Cunningham stands as a grim testament to the consequences of prosecutorial inaction. Cunningham's day-long crime spree, culminating in murder and mayhem, underscores the catastrophic impact of failing to hold criminals accountable. His ability to evade meaningful punishment for previous threats against law enforcement epitomizes the systemic flaws that embolden such destructive behavior. And the AG's office, through its decisions, has signaled a disturbing tolerance for criminality, one that not only jeopardizes public safety, but also questions the commitment to justice of those in charge. As the residents of D.C. and other cities watch their communities fray under the weight of unchecked crime, the demand for leadership that prioritizes safety, accountability, and action has never been more urgent. The narrative being woven through the streets of our nation's capital is one of disillusionment and danger, a narrative that demands a dramatic course correction. The refusal to prosecute and arrest, to engage with the fundamental tools of law enforcement, is not just a policy failure, it is a betrayal of the public trust. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. In this report, we've uncovered not just a crisis of crime in our nation's capital, but a crisis of leadership. The refusal by D.C.'s Attorney General to prosecute and arrest those wreaking havoc on the streets speaks volumes about the dangerous direction some leaders are taking us. It's a stark reminder that the safety of American citizens is becoming a secondary concern to political agendas and misguided policies. This isn't just a D.C. problem, it's an American problem. When elected officials abdicate their primary duty to protect and serve, they betray the trust of every citizen that they are sworn to represent. The outcry from D.C. residents is a call to action for all of us. We must demand accountability, insist on safety, and prioritize the rule of law. It's time to reclaim the promise of our republic where justice and safety are not optional. Our communities deserve no less. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.